Shalom, shalom, shalom. This brother Kamala coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit. Before I get into this lesson, I love to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rahakodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, teaching real well. Kazak Shalom to the hopeful elect. All right, this lesson, I'm going to be going into basically Ruth and who she was and like what the Lord had her do, because everything is of the will of the Father, like the scriptures talk about the purpose of election, But I'm gonna go to Matthew 1, and I'll start at 1. It says the book of the generation of Yahushua Mashiach, the son of David, which was Solomon, the son of Abraham, which was Isaac. And it says Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac begat Jacob, and Jacob begat Judas and his brethren, and Judas begat Pharaz and Salakia, and Zerah of Tamar, and Farah begat Ezrom, and Ezrom begat Aram, and Aram begat Amminadab, and Amminadab begat Nisan, and Nisan begat Solomon, and Solomon begat Boaz. All right, and Boaz is an important person in the story, of Ruth. All right, it says of Rechab, and Boaz begat Obed of Ruth. All right, and Obed, I believe, is the son. All right, that was the seed line of Yahushua. All right, to for his coming. All right, now going to Ruth. All right, Salakia. Let's go to Ruth 1. All right, because a lot of people have a misinterpretation or faulty doctrine of who Ruth was. A lot of people think Ruth was an Israelite, but in all actuality, she was a Moabite. All right, but the Lord used her as basically a seed line, for fulfillment of Yahushua, to come. Because he was supposed to be out the seed line of what? Of David. All right, but this Ruth 1:1, it says, now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled that there was a famine in the land, and a certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went to sojourn in the country of Moab. All right, so they went to the country of Moab because there was a famine in the land. All right, the Lord had broke the staff of the bread and the stay of the water. All right, it says he and his wife and his 2 sons, and the name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi. All right, and Naomi is an important person in this too. All right, it says, and the name of his 2 sons, Mahalah and Chilion, Ephrathitis of Bethlehem, Judah, and they came into the country of Moab and continued there. And Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died. All right, and she was left and her 2 sons. All right, and when he died, he ended up leaving the land that they had left in Bethlehem, Judah, and it ended up being Naomi's. All right, and her 2 sons. All right, so also the 2 sons died. So basically, she's the only heir to everything unless you have another son or something. All right, but she was, I guess, up in age, and she wasn't really on that. But it says, and they took them wives of the women of Moab, and the name of the one was Orpah, and the name of the other one was Ruth. All right, and they dwelled there about 10 years. All right, so they was in the land of Moab for 10 years. It says, then she arose with her daughters-in-law that she might return from the country of Moab, for she heard in the country of Moab how that the Lord Yahweh had visited the people and given them bread. So the Lord had lifted it up, the curse he had put on them, to not receive bread, crops, I should say. All right, I'm gonna jump to verse 16 real quick, just as But verse 16, it says, and Ruth, all right, because Naomi was about to leave, and she was telling him, like, all right, go back to you about to stay here, worship your gods and whatever. All right, but Ruth wasn't on that because what, like everything, like I said, was important to the Lord. All right, Proverbs 16 and 1, it says the preparation is the heart and man, and the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. Yahbashim Yahshua. All right, so the Lord, I put the spirit on her to stay and want to be with, I mean, not stay, but go with Naomi. All right, but for this purpose, Salakia. Don't nobody know their own goings, but it's all of the Lord. I believe that's Proverbs 20 and 24, and Jeremiah 10 and 23. All right, but I'm gonna read 1 to 16 real quick. It says, and Ruth said, entreat me not to leave thee, or to return from the following after thee, for whither thou goest, I will go, and where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and thy power my power. And that kind of made me think of how Balaam said how he wished that his last end was like ours, all right? Because, ultimately, all the nations want to be with us. But as it said, all right, in Deuteronomy 23 and 3, it says, an Ammon or a Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord Yahbashim Yahshua ever, even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever. All right, so can't no other nation be a part of this, but Israel. You got to be an Israelite born to be established as an Israelite. All right, but going back to Ruth, just showing you she was not an Israelite, and even if you even if you nothing, you got to be, like I said, Israelite born, all right, by a man. All right, you got to come out the sea line of a man. Salaki. Ruth 2, all right. This is Ruth 2 and 1. It says, and Naomi had a kinsman of her husband, all right, a mighty man of wealth, and the family of Elimelech, and his name was Boaz. All right, and that's what we're reading about in Matthew 1, because he come out the seed line of David. All right, that was a close kinsman. It says, and Ruth the Moabitess. Now let me go to the blue letter. All right, Ruth 2 and 2. All right, just show you even more that Ruth was in fact a Moabite. All right. When you go to it in the blue letter, it says this is, I'm gonna just get to it, but H4125 Moabi, Moab, it says Moabite, from father, what father? All right, a citizen of Moab, an inhabitant of the land of Moab. All right, so her father, or the father's land, or I mean, however it's Salaki, how it say, from father, what father? All right, that means she was a Moabite. All right, and it says a citizen of Moab, an inhabitant of the land of Moab. All right, don't say no descendant from this person to this seed line to go back to Jacob. None of that. She was a clear-cut code, Moabite, which, like I said, the Lord used her, all right, just like he used, who should I say, the story, and I was just reading it real quick. Joshua 2 and 18, because there's women, outside our nation who has done things for Israel. Scriptures talk about whoever bless Israel, the Lord will bless, and whoever curse Israel, the Lord will curse. All right, but Joshua 2 and 18, it says, behold, when we come into the land, that thou shalt bind this line of scarlet thread in the window which thou didst to let us down by, and thou shalt bring thy father and thy mother and thy brother and all thy father's house home unto thee. But she had got this oath sworn by Joshua and them because of what she did. She hit him, you know, even though she didn't have to, but the Spirit of the Lord jumped on her, because what the Lord already had ordained. All right, it was already ordained for her to do it, but she was just following, just going through. The Lord had put the Spirit on her to, hide them. All right, and then they ended up taking the city. All right. But by her actions, her doing that, I believe she was able to, her and her kinfolks were able to dwell, with us for, I guess, for the remainder of their life. All right. But that was really the point on that, Like I was saying, she was just an account for how the Lord would use certain other nations. All right. But going back to Ruth, I'm gonna go to verse 11. It says, and Boaz answered and said unto her, it hath fully been showed me all that thou hast done unto thy mother-in-law since the death of thine husbands, and how thou hast left thy father and thy mother in the land of thy nativity. All right, and I believe, that's with the acts of war. When you take a woman and you pare her nails and shave her hair, but basically she put off her strange gods, all right, and basically worship Yahweh Shem Yahshua. What she did was an act of what nations is going to do in the kingdom, all right? It says, and how thou hast left thy father and thy mother in the land of thy nativity, and art come unto a people which thou knowest not. All right, she believed in the Lord, all right? And I could read down to, I read down, it says, the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahshua, recompense thy works and a full reward by giving thee of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahshua, power of Israel, under whose wings thou art come to trust, all right? Then she said, let me find favor in thy sight, my Lord, for that thou hast comforted me, and for that thou hast spoken friendly unto thy handmaid, though I be not like unto one of thy handmaids, all right? Because she's a Moabite. It says, and Boaz said unto her at mealtime, come thou hither and eat of the bread and dip of the morsel of vinegar. And she sat beside the reapers, and she reached the parched corn, and she did eat and was sufficed and left. And when she was risen up to glean, Boaz commanded his young men, saying, let her glean. Salaki, let me see. Oh, it's Salakia. Basically, that was her wooing Boaz, as far as Naomi told her, what to do. All right. But like everything was of the Spirit of the Lord, just like with when Isaac and Rebecca, what Rebecca told Rebecca told Jacob basically what to do, as far as finessing, Esau out the kingdom. But at the end of the day, it was all purpose of election, But I'm gonna close out. I'm gonna go to Slaki. Cause it's just something quick, I'm on my break. This Ruth 4:10, it says, and moreover, Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of Mahlon, have I purchased to be my wife. So Boaz ended up marrying her, and inherited and bought the land from Naomi. All right. It says, and I have purchased to be my wife. All right. Also showing you that another nation can be your wife. All right. You got women that believe only other Israelites can be your wife. All right. But no, it's right there, as with Abraham. All right. As with Abraham with the Ethiopian. Joseph with the Egyptian. All right, we able to have other wives of the other nations. The whole thing of why we shouldn't is because, like the whole thing with King Solomon, after he got older, up in age, he was more persuaded by the other nations women to worship their gods, but that's why you just have rule over your spirit, and you know who your power is at the end of the day. But that's neither here nor there, because at the end of the day, the nations God's gonna be put out of earth, and I believe that's in Isaiah the 2nd chapter, but it say the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day, and no other idols shall be worshipped, roughly paraphrasing. All right, so when that happened, every other nation gonna be worshiping the Lord, and then what? That's not, that's what was it, Deuteronomy 7:3. Not saying it's gonna be void, but it's gonna be like, because the laws stand forever. All right, but is all the nations worshiping our gods? Our sons cannot fall away to another god, if you get what I'm saying. Of the other nations, because they're gonna be worshiping the Lord. All right, but it says, moreover, Ruth the Moabitess, wife of Mahlon, have I purchased to be my wife, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance. All right, that the name of the dead be not cut off from among his brethren and from the gate of his place, and you are witness this day. All right, and I have a precept here, just to what is like the contents, not the contents, but like why, if, because I read over the part with Ruth was telling her, like, shall I raise up sons for you, all right, and you wait and you have kids with them, all right, but that's why she was telling them no, like, go ahead, all right, because the law is once your husband is dead, you can go and marry, all right, but the closest to kin, all right, and that's why she Ruth had ended up getting with Boaz, all right, because she was the next closest to kin. All right, but just showing you the order, Genesis 38:8, it says, and Judah said unto Onan, go unto thy brother's wife and marry her and raise her up seed to thy brother. All right, and that's basically what happened. It says, and Onan knew that the seed should not be his, and it came to pass when he went into his brother's wife, that he spilled seed on the ground, lest he should give seed to his brother. And the thing which he did displeased the Lord, Yahbashim Yahshua, wherefore he slew him. All right, so our custom was our brothers would get our wives to continue the seed line. All right, and that's what Ruth was used for. All right, she continued the seed line. All right, and then bringing up Yahushua. All right, and I'm gonna read verse 11. It says, and all the people that were in the gate. All the people that were in the gate and the elders said, we are a witness, the Lord Yahbashim Yahshua make the woman that is come into thine house like Rachel and like Leah. Not talking about like make her an Israelite, or she is an Israelite, but the whole thing of bringing forth the tribes. All right, that was what Rachel and Leah was for. All right, they brought forth the tribes. All right, it says, and do thou worthily in Ephrathah, and be famous in Bethlehem. All right, it says, and let thy house be like the house of Pharez, whom Tamar bare unto Judah, unto the seed which the Lord Yahweh shall give thee of this young woman. Bam, right there. So Boaz took Ruth, and she was his wife, and when he went in unto her, all right, the Lord gave her conception, and she bare a son. And the woman said unto Naomi, blessed be the Lord Yahbashim Yahshua, which have not left thee this day without a kinsman, that his name may be famous in Israel. All right, and she shall be unto thee a restorer, and he shall be unto thee a restorer of thy life, and a nourisher of thy old age. For thy daughter-in-law have loveth thee, which is better to thee than 7 sons have borne thee. All right, that's how good she was to Naomi. All right, and men and women mostly really want sons. All right, she said it's better than 7 sons. All right, verse 16, about to close out. And Naomi took the child and laid in her bosom, and became a nurse unto it. And the woman, her neighbors, gave it a name, saying, there is a son born to who? They didn't say it was born to Ruth. All right, born to Naomi. All right. That's who raised that child. All right. It says, and they called his name Obed. He is the father of Jesse and the father of David. all right? Because that was to continue the seed line, all right? Because it's not about the woman, all right? It's about the father, all right? But basically, if y'all get the gist of everything, Ruth was not an Israelite, all right? And Lord willing, this was edifying to the Lord's elect. Until next time, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Bahashim, Rahaha Kodash. The honors again to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who teach real well. Kazak Shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom and Abba Baba.